everyone, so today I'm going to be making an easy, delicious homemade bread. Anyone could make this. No mixer is needed, only your hands. Simple steps, great result. So now to a bowl, I'm going into 1 cup of warm water, half a cup of milk, any milk of your choice, 1 packet of instant teas, about 1.5 tablespoons. Going to mix that a little. Also going to add 2 tablespoons of cooking oil, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and 1 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to mix until it's nicely dissolved. And because instant teas was used, you don't have to sit and wait for it to become active. Automatically it's activated due to the warm water that was added. So now I'm going to add 4 cups of baking flour. All-purpose flour would work just as fine. I'm going to mix that in. And this recipe gives you 2 loaves of delicious bread. And this recipe is for beginners, people who have never baked a bread. Simple, easy steps. So now I'm going to get my hands in and I'm going to knead until I've created a nice soft dough ball. And I'm going to knead this for about 3 minutes. Kneading stretches and develops the gluten within the dough, allowing it to rise, giving you that light fluffy texture. And if at any time it becomes sticky, just dust some flour on and continue kneading. Now I'm going to add 1 tablespoonful of butter. Yes, and the butter makes a huge difference in taste. It's like a butter bread, but it could definitely be excluded. Now I'm going to knead this for another 2 minutes. I'm going to cover it down with some plastic wrap as to trap the air in, and I'm going to allow it to sit and rise, double in size. So while the dough is resting, I'm going to grease 2 loaves pan, 1 9-inch and 1 8-inch, I believe. I will put the exact size in the description box. 15 minutes later, the dough have risen. I was surprised at how fast that took. It might take yours about 30 minutes, depending on how warm your kitchen is. Now I'm going to get myself a clean working area. I'm going to dust some flour on, and I'm going to cut the dough in half. Well, not equal halves, because 1 pan is bigger. And when I say not even rolling pin is needed, just your hands, as long as you have some flour and yeast, you could make a bread. Now I'm going to roll and shape this into loaf size, mold and shape as nicely as you can, and place it in the pan. Same procedure for the next piece of dough. Just roll to the shape and size of the loaf pan. Going to seal the edges, and you're going to gently place that in the pan. Now I'm going to cover this down with plastic wrap as to trap the air in, and I'm going to allow it to sit and poof, rise, double in size. "20 minutes later, and these are puffed up, double in size. Going to gently remove the plastic wrap, and these are soft and fragile at this stage. And to a preheated oven, I'm going to allow these to bake for about 40 minutes. But first, I've never glazed a bread before baking. I normally glaze it afterwards. So I'm going to try and see if there's any difference after baking. So I'm going to gently brush some melted butter. Gently, you really don't want to mess up the surface. Then into the oven. 40 minutes later, this is the smaller bread that was not glazed. My kitchen smells amazing. There's nothing quite like the smell of freshly made bread. Oh my goodness. So now I'm going to brush some melted butter on the surface, and as you can see, the larger one surface is not so smooth, as the brittle of the brush was a bit too hard. But apart from that, these are just perfect. I'm going to allow them to cool down for about 5 minutes. Then I'm going to place them to a rack, and I'm going to allow them to cool for about 15 minutes before cutting into them. And you really want to remove them from the pan because the heat will allow them to get a bit soggy. And there you have it, freshly homemade bread. Easy, simple steps. As long as you have flour and a bit of yeast, you could make a bread. These were just absolutely delicious. They were finished in one night. We had them with some butter. I want to thank you so very much for watching.